rival rapper Quando. Now, Chicago rapper Lil Durk has been locked up for almost a year, and the clock is ticking. He's currently facing one of the most serious charges of his entire career, murder for hire. Prosecutors claim Durk ordered members of his OTF crew to travel to Los Angeles and target rival rapper Quando Rondo, a move allegedly tied to revenge for the death of King Von.
See, now he did all that. You know what he could have did, and he wouldn't have got arrested for none of that. He could have got him some grabber leaf, whole leaf. He could have got him some thonky, good gas, good drink. He could have got that, rolled it up together, smoked on it a little bit, calmed the fuck down for 5 minutes, and he wouldn't be in prison right now fighting for his life. But nah, he wanted to be a gangster. He had to slide for Vaughn. He had to go put some... Quando Rondo didn't even do nothing to nobody, so I don't know why you was trying to kill him. And then the niggas that you paid to come kill him didn't even kill him. They killed his cousin, who damn sure ain't even do nothing.
As the situation for Durk remains uncertain, his legal team is fighting to get the case thrown out before it even reaches trial. So in this video, I want to give you guys a full update, and I'm also going to do a recap of why Lil Durk is in the position that he's currently in. Now, like a lot of people already know, on the 24th of October last year, everything came crashing down for Lil Durk.
Lil Durk has now been charged in a superseding federal grand jury indictment. It alleges that he conspired with others to murder a rival rapper near the Beverly Center 2 years ago.
Durk was arrested in Florida by U.S. Marshals on a federal murder for hire charge, just hours after several alleged members of his OTF crew were hit with similar indictments. According to prosecutors, the case traces back to the August 2022 Los Angeles gas station shooting that left Quando Rondo's cousin, Lopab, dead. Investigators say that OTF members used a credit card linked to Durk's label to book flights, rent hotel rooms, and track Quando Rondo's SUV across the city before opening fire.
Stupid.
Durk's team, of course, denies everything. His attorney at the time confirmed he was taken into custody in Florida and held without bail, while his associates were arrested in Chicago and transferred to California federal court. At the time of his arrest, authorities claimed that Durk had actually attempted to flee the country, so maybe on some level he knew what was coming. According to the affidavit, he had 3 international flights booked, one to Italy, one to Switzerland, and one to Dubai. But
that's crazy.
Ultimately never boarded any of them because the feds did a sweep. That detail alone shows how serious the situation had gotten at that point. These were extremely...
I would have did the same thing. I'm not gonna lie. I don't blame him for that. Only reason he fucked up is because he didn't get his ass on the plane. He should have did that 2 weeks before. I don't know who told him or how he knew the feds was coming. But if he would have got out of that motherfucker 3 days before, he would have been Gucci Ball 3000. You see what I'm saying? You would have been straight. But I don't blame him though. But the fact that you got caught means you ain't getting no bail. You know what I'm saying? They gonna say you a flight risk. Easy. You a flight risk. You prove that you a flight risk type shit. You feel me? But honestly, I'm gonna ask y'all a question in the middle of this video. Do y'all think he did it? I think he personally cooked. I think personally he had something to do with something. I think he cooked. And if he didn't make them go do that, he damn sure knew they was going to do it. So that's enough to charge him.
Serious
really right
allegations
there,
against Durk. We're not talking about some minor charges. This is murder for hire. On top of that, we're talking about Lil Durk, okay? One of the most successful street rappers of this generation. So
literally.
The question a lot of people had was, how did it get this far? And was all this a bunch of cap? However, like the feds always do when they build a case, they allegedly had a bunch of evidence against Durk, which included financial records showing that an OTF-linked credit card was reportedly used to book flights and hotel rooms for the crew that traveled from Chicago to Los Angeles. Everything was traced during the investigation, from flight purchases and hotel check-ins to the transactions made after the shooting, painting a picture of what prosecutors say was a carefully coordinated plan. Prosecutors also pointed to travel records and court documents claiming that Durk personally provided the funds for the trip, while one of his top associates handled the logistics. Everything from hotel arrangements to buying ski masks. Crazy. They say his top associate, Kayvon Grant, was also the one who obtained firearms, including a weapon allegedly converted into a fully automatic rifle, all under Durk's direction. Investigators claim the group used those cars.
Let's read this. The group used a credit card associated with OTF to buy plane tickets to fly to LA to rent a hotel room, using 2 cars, including one with fake license plates. Then group, like, nigga. So, like, do you understand how slow you gotta be? So you gonna use your credit card, but you gonna put a fake license plate on the car. You gonna use your credit card to rent the damn car and then put a fake license plate on it? What sense do that make? You gonna use your credit card to book the plane tickets, to book the hotel, And then, like, what the fuck? Like, do that make any sense to you, folks? Do that make any sense? That don't make no sense. That's like a nigga putting a condom on and then taking it off right before he nut. What's the point?
Which had fake license plates to track Quando Rondo's SUV before ambushing him at the Beverly Center gas station. After the shooting, prosecutors say the same crew met at In-N-Out, discussed payments. On top of that, the indictment describes coded conversations where Durk allegedly promised money or music opportunities as rewards for carrying out the attack.
Oh my God.
In short, prosecutors are framing this entire case as retaliation for King Von's death, a calculated move to send a message that what happened to Von wouldn't be forgotten. I guess, according to them, he literally slid for Von, right? And Durk, like we all know, he comes from the streets, so hearing something like this tied to his name isn't completely shocking. Street cred and actually living up to it has always been a part of his brand, so when you hear these types of accusations, the first reaction might...
Nobody would have stopped listening to his music because he didn't slide for Von. That is bullshit and it's stupid.
Why would someone like him risk everything? But then again, when your entire success and respect in the culture is built on that image, your mindset isn't always guided by logic. It's driven by loyalty, pride, survival, and emotions. If you let something like that, one of your homies getting killed, go unanswered, people start questioning if you really stand on what you talk about, right? And this is the thing with these types of cases. The feds always look for tangible proof that ties you directly to the plan. They don't just want rumors or association. They want paper trails, digital messages, and travel records. Things they can show in court and say, this came from you. But while the feds have been building their case, Durk's legal team has been fighting back. Back in April of this year, Durk's legal team filed their first major motion to get the entire case dismissed, arguing that the government had given false evidence to the grand jury. Specifically, they said prosecutors try to use Lil Durk's lyrics as proof of a murder-for-hire plot. The feds had specifically pointed to his verse on Babyface Ray's song, Wonderful Wayne and Jackie Boy, claiming that Durk was rapping about revenge after the shooting. And I'm assuming it's this part right here when Durk says, it's effed up that I'd rather get revenge instead of millions. So in other words, he's basically saying I'd rather throw my life away for revenge than enjoy the success I've earned. Or maybe this other line when he says,
look on the news and see your son screaming, no, no. And all them niggas hanging with him. If you know, you know.
Look on the news and see your son, you screaming, no, no. And all them niggas hanging with him. If you know, you know. Now that sounds like a direct reference to the viral video of Quando Rondo.
But this came out before that, though.
He allegedly tried to kill, crying and screaming, no, after finding out his cousin, Lil Pab, had been killed. And this is the clip right here.
In an SUV. Savannah rapper Quando.
So Quando in that video is literally screaming, no, obviously out of pure emotional pain because his cousin was dying right in front of him. So the prosecution tried to connect those lyrics to that exact moment, basically claiming that Durk was...
I know exactly what they had tried to connect. I'm going to tell you something right now, boy. I think this right off Sunset, I think this Sunset right here. I'm pretty sure this like Sunset, nigga. That is not the place where you supposed to go pull up and kill nobody, gang. I'm sorry. Like, I don't... And then y'all didn't even hit Quando Rondo one time. Yeah, like these niggas, boy, I swear to God, like y'all got all these millions and that's the hit y'all put together. With all that money, you would think you could hire John Wick himself. You would think you have Max Payne Jr. out there doing, you know what I'm saying though? Or a sniper from 5 buildings away or some crazy. With all the money these niggas had, you would think that there'll be some crazy 007 type shit. Jump out the plane on the, you feel me? The music playing. You like, where the fuck the music come from? He jump out the plane with the parachute. Wet you up and then get back on some type of jetpack or some shit. With all the millions he got, these motherfuckers flew to San Diego, thought they were smart. Using their credit card, the OTF credit card. Flew to San Diego, drove an hour or two to LA, shot the nigga, and then went and met up at In-N-Out Burger.
Stop it. Get some help.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got
those lyrics to that exact moment, basically claiming that Durk was referencing the scene as a way to celebrate or acknowledge the revenge. But here's where things fall apart. Durk's legal team said that the song was written and recorded 6 months before the attack even happened. They even submitted sworn statements from producers who worked on the song in January 2022, proving it couldn't possibly have been about that shooting. In the motion, Durk's lawyer, Drew Findling, wrote, unless the government is prosecuting Mr. Banks on a theory of extra sensory pre-science, the lyrics could not have soundly informed the grand jury's findings of probable cause. Basically, they were saying the government built its original case on a false timeline. Now, in May of this year, Durk was back in federal court in Los Angeles, trying one more time to get released on bond while waiting for his trial. His lawyers came prepared with what they called a robust proposal, basically a bail plan to convince the judge that Durk could safely stay at home instead of being behind bars. It included a $1 million package backed by his record label, Alamo Records, plus another $150,000 in cash that Durk personally added to sweeten the deal. On top of that, he offered to pay a Beverly.
You ever had one of them days where everything seems to go wrong? I mean, you're just trying to grab a cup of coffee and BAM! You're tangled in a pile of boxes because the shelf is broken. And just like that, I realized sometimes accidents at work are more than just funny stories. They can actually change everything. Trying to handle a workplace injury on your own? It's like trying to fix the broken shelf yourself. More chaos, more headaches, and there's no guarantee that you'll get what you deserve. You got paperwork, insurance calls, and someone always telling you to wait. It's enough to make you wish you had a secret weapon. But here's the thing, there's a team of people that fights for people just like you. For over 35 years, Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, has been winning cases when everybody else said it couldn't be done. In Florida, someone got $12 million after a work accident, even though the insurance was ready to offer just $350,000. In Pennsylvania, a worker was awarded $26 million, which was 40 times the initial offer. These are not just numbers. They're real victories for real people, all thanks to the team that fights hard for justice. More than 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, like a legal squad ready to jump into action. Yeah. They've recovered over $25 billion for clients. And they have a long history of helping workers get what they're owed. Because when you're injured at work, you shouldn't have to go at it alone. You can just click the link below or the QR code that's on your screen. No endless waits or confusing forms. Just a quick way to start protecting your rights today. So if you had an accident on the job, do not risk doing it alone. You can check out Morgan & Morgan, because even in the toughest workplace accidents, a strong team makes all the difference. And trust me, there's a reason why they're America's largest injury law firm. It's because they fight for the people just like you.
Hill's security company to provide 24-hour armed security guards at his house, basically a private home detention setup to prove he wouldn't be a flight risk. But the judge wasn't having it. After about an hour of arguments, Durk's request for bond was denied. According to Rolling Stone, the judge said she'd received reports claiming that Durk had been using the phone accounts of 13 other inmates to make calls while in custody. Basically, he was using other people's phone access to stay in contact with the outside world, which is against jail rules. She also said he appeared to be making three-way calls, which is normal jail violation. Shit, Durk's lawyer pushed back and said it wasn't as serious as it sounded. He told the court that kind of thing happens all the time inside of federal facilities, and that Durk was just trying to stay in touch with his family. His lawyer, Drew Feinling, also pointed out that jail staff had nothing but positive things to say about Durk's behavior and about how he's been staying grounded in his Muslim faith. Still, the judge didn't budge. She ordered Durk to remain in custody. What's interesting is that during that same hearing, Drew Feinling mentioned that prosecutors had just filed a new version of the indictment and that they actually removed some of the strongest claims that tied Durk to the shooting. And according to Durk's legal team, they took out the part saying that Durk monetized death in his lyrics and also dropped the line accusing him of personally ordering a co-defendant to pay the bounty. But prosecutors told the court that none of that changes their position. They said this case isn't about lyrics or music, it's about Durk's actions and what they say were the steps he took to order that hit in Los Angeles. So at that point in May, Durk was still behind bars, no bail, no release, just waiting for the next move. Now the plot kept thickening, and in June of this year, Durk's legal team came back with an even stronger bail proposal, this time worth a massive $4.5 million.
Damn, they denied that too. That's crazy.
The offer included around-the-clock home detention with private security and electronic monitoring, but once again the judge said no. And why exactly did he say no? Well, the judge stated that the proposed funds were only a fraction of Durk's net worth, and that because he's facing a mandatory life sentence, if convicted, even an innocent man might consider running. The judge also pointed to Durk's attempt to fly to Dubai shortly after other defendants were arrested.
Yeah, that's what when I very first heard that he got arrested and he tried to take off to go to another country. I'm like, he ain't getting no bond. Flight risk instantly. And that's proven. Like, it's not even a question. A judge, what is the judge going to say? The judge can't say anything. All the judge can do is not give your ass bail. He can't say nothing. It's nothing he can say that in your favor, bro. You had 3 flights planned out, gang. Like,
details showed he had already tried to flee once. And then Durk's lawyer pushed back on us, saying the trip was for business and spiritual reasons, but the judge didn't buy it. He said plainly, the court finds that the defendant did attempt to flee abroad. After the ruling, Durk's legal team said in a statement that they were disappointed but still confident he'll be cleared once the truth comes out. And what's interesting is that, during this hearing, the judge also acknowledged that the case wasn't exactly airtight yet. Very interesting. He said it's possible, maybe even plausible, that Durk was pulling the strings, but at some point, there has to be real proof, not just general claims. Very interesting. And then fast forward to this September, and things started to shift again behind the scenes. Prosecutors and several of Durk's co-defendants actually filed a motion asking to delay the trial, calling the case so unusual and so complex that they needed more time to prepare.
So, remember 5 seconds ago, I ain't hear about this shit. I didn't hear about this. Because 5 seconds ago, you just said that they had some bullshit evidence, woody-woody-woo. Now you saying you need more time to prepare. Needing more time to prepare sound like it's going to be harder to beat this case than you thought it was going to be. Needing more time to prepare sounds like your ass is grass. That's just what it sounds like to me.
Calling the case so unusual and so complex that they needed more time to prepare. But here's the crazy part. Durk wasn't actually one of them. He didn't agree to delay the trial at all. And in court documents, it literally says, Defendant Banks, that's Durk, does not join in the stipulation to continue the trial in this matter. Meaning Durk actually wanted to go to trial sooner than later. Prosecutors, on the other hand, argue that since Durk is being tried alongside the others, the delay should still apply to him, saying a 3-month wait constitutes a reasonable period of delay and doesn't violate his right to a speedy trial. If Durk wants to fight that, his team could try to oppose the delay or even ask the judge to separate his case from the others, but that decision hasn't been made yet. Essentially, what's going on right now is that Durk is once again trying to have his federal murder for hire charges dismissed, claiming that the government's case is way too vague to even fight properly. The first time they tried to get the case dismissed was back in October.
I don't see that though, bro. These the feds we talking about. We not talking about no Rudy poop put ass. We know what I'm saying? We talking about the Federal Bureau of Investigation, gang. I don't think he gonna be able to. I don't know, bro. Like, don't get me wrong, it's Lil Durk, and I understand why niggas be wanting to lock up rappers and all that type of shit, but the feds, bro. I ain't really seen nobody beat the feds. I mean, YoungBoy kind of beat him a little bit, but he ain't had no murder trial. He had some gun bullshit, like, and he still ain't really beat him type shit. But I guess you could say, some people, you could say he beat him. But name another nigga that beat the feds, bro. I don't know. And even YoungBoy, you could say he beat him, but that nigga was on house arrest for like 5-10 years or some shit like that. Like, this the first time he been out since fucking, I don't even know, bro. He was on house arrest and getting back locked up and this, that, and third, locked up again, folks. So, like, you ain't just flat out beating the feds,
right after Durk got arrested.
I'm sorry.
The trial was originally supposed to happen this October, but it's now been pushed back to January 2026, which means that's when Durk will finally have his day in court, unless his lawyers manage to get it dismissed before then, which what's the likelihood that's going to happen? I'm not too sure about that personally. And Durk, of course, continues to deny that he ever ordered a hit on Quando Rondo. He's gearing up to fight these charges head on, but according to a new filing made on October 6th, his lawyers say they can't even prepare a proper defense because prosecutors haven't clearly explained what they're actually accusing him of, which is what the judge said earlier, right? They're arguing that the entire case is built on guesswork, that there's no clear evidence of how or when Durk supposedly communicated this bounty. Durk's legal team specifically stated, this indictment is impermissibly vague. It leaves the defense to guess as to the government's theory of guilt, and it leaves the government free to change that theory as its cooperators' stories morph over time to meet the demands of a conviction. So basically what they're saying is that the government can't just keep moving the goalpost, that they need to show exactly what Durk said, who he said it to, what he did, and how all this connects to the crime. And it's interesting because that's not at all what most people thought was happening with this case. Could this be some type of tactic to buy time or weaken the prosecution's strategy? I don't really know, right? But either way, it's the job of his attorneys to look for every single crack in the government's case and use it to their advantage. That's what the legal team is getting paid for, right? So it's looking pretty uncertain for Durk right now until that trial.
I think I don't know. I think he's kind of cooked. Will he get charged for murder for hire and go to jail for the rest of his life? That I don't know. I can't tell you that for real. But I can damn sure tell you that he gonna do something gonna happen, bro. Simply off the fact that they used OTF credit cards, you know? And he's the owner of OTF. So it's kind of like, now if they have any type of communication with Durk and them niggas who was in LA shooting at Quando Rondo and killed Lil Pav, if he have any communication while they're there, right before they left or right after they left, I'm talking about any type of communication. A phone call that was tapped, some text messages that code got broke, whatever the case is, he's cooked. And then you got to look at it like this too. Lil Durk is the big fish in this situation, bro. You know? So, this the feds we talking about, bro. You think Durk paying everybody else on the case, you think he paying for their lawyers? I don't think so. Durk got like 10, 12, 13 kids. He got a girl out here, a mama, a dad. You know what I'm saying? He still got to pay for all that. He got to pay his lawyers, and he got to do all that while he not making no money actively, bro. And I don't give a damn how rich you are. If you got $100 million, and this $100 million is supposed to last you for the rest of your life, all of a sudden you in jail and you can't make no more money. You might have some investments, and that might save him if he got his money right. If his money in the right places, he's overly good. You know what I'm saying? If it's not, which most of these rappers, it don't be, on bro grave. Most of these rappers, if they ain't rapping, they ain't getting paid, shorty. Like, you know? So, I don't know his situation, obviously, but I don't give a fuck how rich you is, bro. If your money stop, and on top of that, you got millions of dollars in lawyer fees, and you still got bills at home, your kids still need school, you still trying to pay car notes for baby mamas, and you know what I'm saying? You might be trying to do this, do that. You still trying to take care of your girl, still trying to take care of the kids, still trying to pay the rent. Rent ain't cheap, or rent, mortgage, whatever. You ain't living in no poop-put ass area, bro. These niggas be having, I'm trying to tell you, bro. These niggas be having hundreds of thousands of dollars in bills, bro. Easily, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you got millions of dollars a year, and eventually the shit's gonna either run out or something gonna have to give, gang. So I don't think he paying all them niggas lawyer fees. All somebody gotta do is snitch. If I was Lil Durk, I'd be trying to snitch first, because y'all ain't finna snitch on me. Listen to me, man. Y'all ain't about to snitch on me, have me go to jail, especially if Lil Durk didn't tell them niggas to do that. Shit. Crazy as hell. You think I'm going to jail? Yeah, okay, we go see, motherfucker. It's gonna be a contest on who snitched first, who snitched the best, nigga. I promise you, I'm gonna win.